up guys, I'm Hectico
and Conceptualizing
from hecticosays, and we've got a brand new video for you today. So Crawler, you know Smash Bros is coming out.
Yeah.
Did you see the leaked roster?
I'm totally ready for it.
I think so too, man. I'm definitely down for it. But I've been wondering, what would it be like to choose our own roster, make our own fighting game? How would you feel about that?
I would have loved to include a bunch of characters.
What possible fighting game could we possibly come up with? Like honestly, there's every kind of fighting game out there.
Well, I mean, Capcom likes to whore itself out a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, we have the X-Men, we have Namco, we have Tekken. Like, what could we possibly use in addition to our typical Capcom fighters?
You know what? I would love to see Konami get in the mix.
Konami?
Konami.
What the hell are you gonna do from Konami?
Amazing roster list. I mean, you have characters from Metal Gear Solid and Castlevania.
Even Yu-Gi-Oh, really? I get what you're saying. So with that said, we've got a roster for you. You know what Konami game I really missed? Zone of the Ender.
Zone is great.
Yeah, since we're talking on the subject of fighters, how about one of our orbital frames, those little mechs, like Jeopardy? Like how badass with all her weapons and lasers and geysers and all shit, how badass would she be in a game?
It's very combat effective, I think. It would be really cool to have that.
I think it'd be pretty awesome actually, yeah, it would be pretty sweet. What about you, man?
I would like to see Konami has Yu-Gi-Oh, and I think Kaiba would actually fit pretty well. He actually fights in the show, and
he plays cards.
But like he can do a combo where he throws a couple of punches, and then he brings out a card, and then the animation of the monster comes out of the card. And I think it would be pretty cool. You see like a blue eyes blast out with a big beam of light and hit the opponent, maybe do some wall bounces, things like that. I think it's interesting.
That actually does sound pretty sweet. Got it. What about Disco from Dance Dance Revolution? The dude with the afro?
We're just gonna be dancing around.
He'll dance all over you. He'll be like, ah, you couldn't make it! And then,
marvelous!
Yeah, man, it'd be awesome. Every time like you hit an attack like really well, it's like perfect, it shows on the screen. It'd be really, really cool.
I would actually like to see throw a big monster in there from Silent Hill. We all know him, Pyramid Head. That big sword is just gonna be chopping down everybody. I think it would actually be unfair to have him on the roster.
There's no more unfair than having fucking Ghost Rider or the whole kind of team in Marvel vs. Capcom, so I can see it. That's crazy. Did you ever play Metal Gear Solid 3?
Yeah, I love that game.
Snake Eater?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm throwing stuff. But do you remember Vulcan, the dude who had like electricity or whatever?
The big guy with the scar on his face?
Yeah, he used to put bullets in between his fingers. I'd like to see him in the game, man.
He would be really cool.
I think he'd be cool because he's like a melee guy, but he can also shoot those bullets with the electricity in his hand. So he's like little projectiles too. I think he'd be pretty sweet.
He's a great boss character to add to the mix. I'd like to see Bomberman. Konami was involved with Bomberman, and it would be really cool to see him use his power glove. Maybe he hops on the kangaroo, just jumps around, dropping bombs everywhere, big explosions. I would love it.
That would be kind of cool. You see him like keeping there and just lay bombs all across the floor.
With the little skate shoes too.
Galamoth. Now I know a lot of people don't know who that is. Remember that dude from Castlevania Symphony of the Night? Big ass dude, had like the lightning rod, he would shock you. I had to turn into the poison mist in order to kill him, that's a different story all entirely. He's just a huge dude, he would kick the shit out of you too. So he just giantly boots you across the fucking screen. You'll bounce off like the invisible wall and get shot. I think it'd be a sweet ass combo.
I mean, with a few minor tweaks to fit him into the game, I think he would be really cool. I'd like to see the Contra guys. Maybe just one of them, but maybe both of them at the same time. You got the little tag team thing. They can switch their weapons from the spread shot. Gotta love that spread shot. The homing missiles, the laser shots. Oh my god! I think they fit perfectly. Doing the little rolls up in the air would be great.
How would you have both of them at one time?
Well, maybe they just tag team each other in for different weapons.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I got it. What about the ass kicker himself? Alucard. You can turn into a wolf, a bat, you can fuck people up with your sword, you can use fire spells. Like, what can he do? He's gonna beat anybody's ass in the game.
Use that poison mist and use the big Galamoth. But you know what would be, I think, even cooler? A character that shows up even more throughout all the games? Dracula. His father. Now Dracula, that guy kicks ass. No matter what form he's in.
He's a beast of a guy, let me tell you. He can do pretty much everything Alucard can do and still be better. I mean, I'll never forget fighting the 3 forms of him and turning into the big ass dude. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty sweet, dude.
Nice little 3 fireballs.
Fuck him. He'll throw a cup at you. What is a man? You get a cup in the face like, ah, my eyes.
You know, from the Metal Gear Solid series, we have to include the big boss himself, Naked Snake. I mean, he's completely amazing. He's probably everybody's favorite, I think. He's great all around. He's been included in other games before, like the Super Smash Bros. Series, using the CQCs and his rocket launchers, and even in Project M, he uses his tranquilizer, which I think is a really good thing to include.
Solid choice, man. Solid choice. Naked Snake is the epitome of a badass. But I got one a little bit better. How about a guy who is almost as badass, but has a revolver? What about Ocelot?
Ocelot, great character.
Even if you get bored, where you just taunt, have him flip the revolver around for like 20 minutes and be like, fuck you, and then shoot somebody. I always liked Ocelot. Really cool, fun character.
Young Earl.
Yeah, I mean, he only gets better with age. He's like a fine wine or a fart.
Take it lightly.
All right. I think that's an awesome list of like Konami characters, but I really don't see, a game with just Konami characters. Like, who would they fight? Who are they gonna go against? Who's gonna be their opponents? Who's big enough and has a roster that's just big enough to tackle the names that we just mentioned?
Well, the natural opponent has to be Capcom, because they fight almost every other company too.
This is true. This is true. I think I'd like to see a Konami versus Capcom toss-up. I mean, obviously, if we're gonna do it that way, I'd like to name some people who aren't in every freaking Capcom game known to man. But I think it'd be pretty cool, dude.
I would definitely love to include characters that they haven't before.
Yeah, man. I always thought it'd be cool to see somebody different from the Resident Evil universe, not Chris, Wesker, or Joe. Like, what about Leon?
Leon's perfect, main character.
He's my favorite Resident Evil character.
Definitely. He's only got a really cool character.
Yeah, it shows that he has some sort of fighting capability in Resident Evil 6. So I mean, I think he'd be a perfect fit. Very athletic, very small guy, not compared to Chris. So I think he'd be a lot faster.
He showed a little weakness to himself. I mean, that's not bad. That's just human.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool.
But I like to throw in somebody who's a little less human. The guy who never dies, Mr. Death himself, Hunk. He's incredible. He's been throughout the first 3 games. You always play him as the 4th survivor, and I think he just needs a little more press, a little more, throw him into more games. I really like to see him. He's always been my favorite character.
I'll give you one thing. If he can't die, then he's a pretty good candidate for a fighting game. That's all I'm gonna say. What about that dude from that PS2 ripoff of Ghost and Maximo Ghost to Glory? Big buff dude, the brown hair, the sword.
The evolution of Sir Arthur.
Yeah, I always thought he'd be cool. Like, instead of Sir Arthur, since Sir Arthur got his time in Marvel's Capcom 3, have Sir Maximo in there.
Maximo.
And just have him fuck shit up.
I'd like to see Nick Ramos, the new Dead Rising main character from Dead Rising 3. He's great. He works with he uses tools and stuff, and he puts things together. And maybe he can bring out his chopper bike with him. He'd be really great to include, just to keep up with the times, just to take out Frank West a little bit out of the limelight and throw him in there.
What about Chuck Green?
I don't like Chuck. Nobody likes Chuck Green. And he's too busy saving his daughter.
The only thing he carries on is zombies. Alright, check this one out though. With how much press Mega Man gets, it's surprising that he hasn't been in a game yet. What about Sigma? The guy is super smart, super fast, super quick, super strong. He has a fucking sword. God knows how many powers. No matter how many times you kill him, he comes back. Like, what do you do with a guy like that?
With many transformations and he's the ultimate bad guy of Mega Man X. I would actually like to see Mega Man's one of his rivals, Vile.
Ooh, nice choice. Solid.
Either just himself, or maybe he's in the rider armor, But either way, he was always a tough fight. He was probably even harder than Sigma, in my opinion. That was always a tough fight.
He had a little turret gun. He had a little thing where he can entrap you in that little thing.
Yes.
He trap you and just start beating the shit out of him. That was always pretty cool too. Yeah. How do you feel about Onimusha?
I'm not too familiar with Onimusha.
He's a swordsman. That's pretty much it actually. He's pretty basic.
That's what he is?
He's just a swordsman. I mean, he has like powers, but not really powers. He's like, hey, I have powers to do a little better, but at the end of the day, I'm still a swordsman.
I mean, he's a nice little franchise, isn't it?
I think he obviously has the name back in his franchise, but I think he's just like he's one of those down-to-earth characters that people can sort of get along with.
He's a fresh face.
Yeah, you know, he is.
I'd like to see Asura from Asura's Wrath.
Holy shit.
Big guy with a couple of arms that's just gonna pound you into the ground. He's beating people that are bigger than the world. He's beating Ryu, evil Ryu. He's beating Akuma and Oni. He's great. He needs to be included into the Capcom mix for fighting. He has to.
Yeah, that's a hell of a character. That's a hell of a name, dude. Really, it is. Holy shit, Asura. I mean, I don't know too much about the character, but I've seen Asura. That's one of those boys I wouldn't want to play with. But yeah, man, I think as far as Capcom goes, that's a pretty solid list of, like, I guess I don't want to say newcomers, but people you don't expect to see in the game.
Yeah, I think all those characters we mentioned like deserve a place in at least one of these fighting games, if not at least like just to be mentioned.
Definitely, I agree. Anyway, guys, as far as our fighting roster goes for a Konami versus Capcom sort of thing, that's really all we have. If you have anything, be sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you feel like we're missing something that should have been right in front of our faces that we're just not seeing as far as character goes. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Hectico and TheCrawler2000 out.